Hey guys, today I'm going to take you through how to install the CR trunk stoppers on a non-CR Honda S2000. The CR or Club Racer S2000 came with a small GT style wing. Their standard S2000 did not. Since I've added a wing, I want to also add that bracing to my trunk as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to install some bracing here on the top part of the trunk lid, and then I'm going to install sort of its counterpart here on the trunk section, and then I'm going to do that on both sides. And then I'm going to also install another piece similar to this brace, or these padded pieces. I'm going to install one on each side here as well, and then they're going to sort of push against the bumper, whereas these pieces here push against the actual inside of the trunk. So, hopefully that's going to keep the trunk from deforming at high speeds. Some of the faster tracks with the long straightaways, you get up to 120, 130, starts to create a lot of downforce and causes the trunk to deform. So my goal is to keep the wing from deforming the trunk lid any more than it already has. And you can see it's already sort of bent it a little bit. I was at a low speed track for my first track day with the wing, and it sort of bent the lid a little bit. It's not too bad. If I close it all the way, there you can see it's not too bad. You can see up here it's a very narrow seam, whereas back towards the back you can see there's a much larger gap here where the wing is actually starting to cantilever and pull the trunk lid up. So my goal is to try to stop that progression, and we'll find out after the first track day here at VIR with the wing, and see with the higher speeds if that deforms the trunk at all. All right, so what parts do we need? I bought all the CR trunk stopper pieces. So these pieces mount to the top of the trunk lid, and they push against these stopper pieces, these smaller sort of stopper pieces that go on the inside of the trunk lining. And then I got these bigger stopper pieces, which I'll show you in just a second, and some self-tapping screws. And I'll list all the part numbers in the comment section. I opened the upper trunk stoppers, the large ones, and just to see what they look like. And you can see they've got these little sort of these push-in self-locking things on the back here, which all they require is to drill a small hole. Well, I want to make sure I drill the hole the right size so they lock in properly. And if you look up here on the trunk, the existing ones actually attach the same way, the stock ones from Honda. So what I did was I just undid one side to sort of see what size. You can see here, if I come around the back, it's got the same type of, if you can see that or not, but it has the same type of tab as the CR ones have. So the hole size should be identical. So I'm going to just check my drill bit against this hole size to make sure I'm drilling the correct size hole so these lock in properly when I install them. So in checking the fit here, a 3/16 inch size bit seems to be the best fit, and it seems to be the best match to this hole. The hole is slightly larger than this bit, but my guess is this is going to be close enough to allow these to lock in properly. So I'm going to give this a try. I marked both the spots where I need to drill, basis the distance between the two posts on here, and so I'm going to put it about there. Now, one thing important to note is that if you look at this piece, the part that contacts the trunk right here is not flat. It actually is at an angle. So you can see it's kind of it's angular. If I hold it up here in front of a light surface, it's probably easier to see. I'll hold it up like this. There. So you can see it's at an angle. It's not flat. So you want to make sure that that angular part where it tapers upward is towards the back of the car. So it's going to go just like this. It's going to go just like this with the angular part towards the back of the car. Because of the way the trunk is angled, it's going to sit going to sit just like that when it closes. So I'm going to go ahead and drill the holes, and then we'll pop it in. I'm going to use a smaller 1/16 inch bit to start off to drill a pilot hole. Otherwise, the drill will start to actually walk, and it's going to be really hard to get the hole in the right spot. Alright, so those are the pilot holes. Now I'm going to switch back to my 3/16 inch bit. That was a 1/16 inch to drill the pilot holes. I'm going to switch back to my 3/16 inch to drill the actual size holes here. Okay. So now let's see if this fits. If not, I'm gonna have to probably odd along these. I think this is gonna fit. Yep, there we go. Okay, so that's the first one in. You just snap it right in. Okay, there you go. You can see there it is, the first one installed. It just snapped right in. And as mentioned, you'll notice that the angular part there, see it's angled up. The surface that mates with the trunk, or with the bumper rather, is angled. It's angled up. It's kind of hard to see. There we go. All right, I'm going to close the trunk now and just see if it actually closes. This is an important test. Okay, it closes no problem, which is good. So hopefully it's in the right spot. That is the spot where it is on the CR. So hopefully that's the right spot. So now I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the other side. Okay, now I'm going to snap the second one in. See if it fits. Yep, there we go. Okay, so now I've got them both in. Make sure the trunk closes like this. Yep, closes no problem. Okay, so I'll show you guys. You can see here how I installed the additional stoppers here on the trunk. You sort of see the positioning of them relative to the ones that are factory. So this is the one that's on the car from the factory. This is the CR one. And again, same thing on this side. The factory one, the CR one. And those should really only contact the bumper. Looking here, it looks like maybe they contacted the bumper a little bit. Just looking at the mark here and the dust, it looks like they are contacting the bumper a little bit, but they'll really, the bracing will only really come into play at high speeds when there's a lot of downforce on the wing. So, like I said, when I just installed mine, the trunk had no problem closing, which is good. So now I'm going to move on to the side braces, and those go in sort of in this area and here to sort of help the this part of the trunk lid from pushing downward when the wing has a lot of downforce on it. So let's try that. So this is going to install sort of right here along the edge. You can see right along the edge of the trunk lid. It's got two metal tabs that stick out that we're going to use a washer and then a self-tapping screw to secure that to the trunk. And then it's going to kind of mate up with right where this permanent marker is here. There's going to be another stopper right above the head, like right above the tail light. Even though these are self-tapping screws, I'm going to do a tiny little pilot hole. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to sort of mark where I need to drill, and then we'll try to get this thing installed. So I've marked where I need to drill. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some small pilot holes for the self-tapping screws. Those are my pilot holes. I'm using a very small bit. I'm using a 1/16 inch bit for these pilot holes. These are self-tapping screws. And I just had some washers laying around, so I'm going to use some washers with these screws. Those weren't included with the OEM parts that I bought from Honda. I just had these washers sitting in my garage, so I'm going to add a washer below each screw, between the screw and the bracket piece here. You can see here I've drilled the 2 pilot holes. You see there and there. And now I'm going to use the screws, and I'm going to hold the bracket up and kind of try to hopefully get this secured properly the first time, so I don't have to re-drill. So there it is, installed. You can see how I did the screw and then the washer for each side. And then this will close just like that. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Okay, now this side's installed also. So we've got these same pieces installed on both sides. Now I'm going to do the corresponding bumpers that go in these channels here for the trunk, and that's what these rubber pieces will push against when the trunk is closed and it's under pressure. So these pieces, it's a little hard to see there. They have a ridge on them. It's going to go right about here. So it mounts. So I went ahead and used a punch and a hammer to make a hole, because it's at an angle. It's really hard to drill a pilot hole. And now I'm going to use my larger bit. So now I'm going to use my larger bit to drill the final hole. Alright, so I did the same thing over here. Drilled my 2 holes. And now I'm going to go ahead and try to fit this piece in. Remove the adhesive and fit this piece in. Just kind of pop it in there. Alright, so this is all installed. Now I'm just going to make sure that the trunk will actually close. Hopefully it'll close with all these new stoppers. Yep, it closes and latches. It's a little harder to close because the stoppers are, they're engaging, I guess, a little bit, especially on this side. They're engaging a little bit when it closes. But that should be good, because that means that when there's downforce on this wing, it's pushing down. The stoppers are going to be bracing it. So I'm going to take it to VIR this coming weekend, and it's got some high speed. It's got 2 high-speed straights. Should be a lot of downforce, fast uphill S's section that I should be going through around 120, and so that's going to put a lot of downforce and really test these out and see if they prevent the trunk from flexing any further. got back from VIR. I did a whole weekend there. Actually, I did 3 days there. I did test and tune on Friday, and then I did 2 days of competition. And you can take a look at the trunk here. You know, relative to before, there is still about the same amount of deformation. So I think that these braces that we put in are doing the job. I'll show you the other side here. You can see it's flexing up a little bit, but it was like that from, I think, the one event I did before I put the bracing in. So it looks to me like the bracing is doing its job. You can see it's not pulling up much. So I'll continue to monitor it, but it looks to me like it's working. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please hit like and subscribe. Thanks a lot.